This is New Meta Podcast episode 86. I'm your host Stan, aka The Magic T. Joining me, as always, Marco and Adam. Get to you both in a moment in today's ep, talking a bit about how have games been, of course, a little bit of support Clinkz, just to tease Adam's games, and then 7.26 and 7.26a, the two patches that have come out in quick succession over the last week. First things first, though, Marco, welcome to the pod. How have you been? How's your week been?
Yo. Thank you. Week's been pretty solid, pretty similar to the week that went by last week.
Yeah.
The one change to my week this week is I've consumed much less DotA watching because I've substituted watching Twitch streams for playing Heroes of Might and Magic during the workday. So Heroes 3 pod coming soon, and yeah, going good.
Nice. Yeah, I've been working from home this week, and I work in a different place to my desk, and I use a different computer. So at some point, I might move my laptop that I'm working from home on into where my desk is, so I can get some Heroes 3 or some Twitch stream going. Because at the moment, on my work laptop, I can't go on Twitch. It's like blocked, and also obviously I can't play any games on it.
Yeah.
So I might have to make the like heads up play and just put the laptop on my lap while I'm like playing Heroes 3 or something. We'll see.
Yeah. My work has no idea about how much more unproductive I've been battling these Heroes 3 games.
Yeah. Well, Adam, how have you been? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Same old, like every week.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah.
Animal Crossing had an update, very sick. My town's looking nice, and then I play some Dota 2.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's the lifestyle right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be the lifestyle for a while. I don't know.
The Corona
the podcast,
quarantine lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, the pod lives on. The pod lives on strong. I've been meaning to do some marketing, like put some actual effort into like marketing the podcast in some locations. I've been meaning to do it for the last month, so we'll see if I finally pull my finger out, as it were, and get to that. Who knows? But if you are listening for the first time, then I don't know what I'd say to you. Thanks, yeah. Thanks. You have 86 episodes to catch up on. If you really want to go back to the start and learn about whatever patch we were on back then, the metagame of 7.04b or something, then be my guest. But we do have a backlog. To be fair, some of those early episodes are actually pretty strong, just general educational ones, I would say. Yeah. So always worth dipping back in if you so choose. Today's ep, though, how have games been? Where we always start. Marco, you mentioned you haven't been watching a lot more Dota. Have you been getting a few games in? I know we got a bit in today. How's Dota been treating you?
I've got a handful in, not that many. I've been feeling Ember Spirit recently in the last week or so. Ember's a fun, flashy hero. Playing it in the safe lane, it is a fun safe laner. If the lane's like okay, you're gonna have a decent time. A lot of kill potential. Hit creeps quite fun. Mid game, fly around. But yeah, I not really played much. Few Ember, Void, Ricky, kind of classic sweat heroes of mine. We had a couple of games just now which were interesting. Yeah.
Ember, S tier fun hero or tier 1 fun hero?
S tier.
S tier fun.
Yeah.
Wait, you're on the numbers train.
Dude, it's S tier followed by tier 1, 2, 3. So S is greater than tier 1.
Ah, I see. So you were still including S. Okay,
we know this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
let's not revisit that. Yeah.
Ember, Ricky, Void Spirit, all tier S fun. I've been enjoying those guys. Apart from the last game I played poorly, but I'm also going to flame Nick and say don't skill your E on AA. Ice Vortex, don't skill that at level 2, and we would have won the game. That's all I'm saying.
We would have won the game. I don't know if I go that far. I feel like whenever Marco plays Ember Spirit, it instantly puts him at a 9.5 on the tilt scale.
Really?
Yeah, and then if anything goes wrong, whew,
It's
Yeah.
definitely like
you're going to get a buyback remnant in immediately.
I know that every Ember game should be a perfect 20 kills, 0 deaths kind of game, and it's like it's just tilting when that doesn't happen. So Ember's kind of swingy.
Yeah, it's like a convergent mental state hero. It's like it goes one of two ways.
Yeah.
There's not like a middling Ember Spirit game. It's either like a complete pop-off, destroy the game, or it's like a struggle through. And like rage buyback, instant remnant in dieback sort of game. Like it's one of the two. Those two games that we played, it's a classic tale of two halves when you play the same 5-stack twice in a row. We played with our 5-stack against exactly the same team twice. First game, we crushed, really. Like, we stomped the game pretty nicely. And then when we matched against them again, they pick all their, like, sweat heroes. They come out with the Lone Druid mid. Obviously, this guy's, like, speciality. And then, it's a lot harder the second time round because we were also, like, messing about with hero picks and taking it easy and diving and stuff.
Yeah. So there's a double shift in that they try extra hard and we take our foot off the pedal, choose less optimal heroes, and it's a big swift. I would say we stomped them harder in the first game than they stomped us in the second. So in the first game, 27 minutes, 56 kills to 19. That's pretty bonkers stomp. And then we lost the second game in 34 minutes, 39 to 31, so a bit more close kill score, but it felt kind of stompy. That Syllabur just went off the charts, and I didn't know shit, and heroes weren't that great, and rough.
It was weird. There was a moment in that game where I was OD mid against this Lone Druid or Syllabur, if you're a cool Dota 1 hipster, and I went top. My lane had been okay, like I'd lost it a bit, like he was half a level ahead of me, sort of thing. I went top to do a rotation, got like 2 kills or something, or got like a kill and an assist. Maybe it wasn't instant, say, I danced around a bit and then we got a couple kills. I go back to lane, I'm like level 8 and he's like level 12 on the Lone Druid. I'm like, sorry, did you just like glitch the game and buy like 4 tomes or something? Like, what is going on? It was crazy the levels that guy had.
At minute 18, he was level 17. I vividly remember. That's really, really, really strong.
Was this just stacking camps on just farming lane camps? Oh, he did a good job, I guess.
I don't know. Mask of Madness on the bird, just running around camp to camp. But even so, how much XP exists? I don't know.
Yeah, it's such a grim. Druid builds these days are so grim now that Root's level 1, and you just build Mask of Madness on the bear. It's such a more oppressive way to lose to a Lone Druid than like a Radiance, timing where it's like, it's a lot more tilting to be rooted and then feared and die than it is to like get Radiance burned, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
By a tanky bear. So annoying.
It's strong item build, I feel. Like, it seems maybe glass cannony or squishy or greedy, I don't know what you'd say, but when you Mask of Madness and then you're proccing roots and bashes, and then you've got fear as well, if that bear got on top of you, there's no way you live.
Yeah, and when he builds such heavy damage on the bear, even with a hero like Ember Spirit, if you remnant over the bear back to the hero, he can say, resummon bear, he can fear you, resummon bear, or fear and then recall bear, and just munch you in fear duration. He's guaranteed to get a root or something. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it was nasty. I think given we had AA ult and Necro ult, we could have done probably a bit of a better job to just nuke him down at the start of fights, but it's difficult, especially with a hero like Necro. It's hard to be in the right position to just follow up with a Reapers, given the hero's so slow. But yeah, like you said, it was an interesting game, back and forth.
What was your view on the game, Adam? I didn't see much of you. You were on Clinkz.
Yeah, it was a harder game. Honestly, I just think we just needed a stronger lane combo. Bottom. Just pick Venge again, and we would win.
Yeah.
As opposed to Necro.
So you couldn't do enough pressure. Necro a bit too passive.
Yeah. Especially since they've followed it up with a Jug. They had Lion, and it's like we couldn't kill the Lion because Jug would spin in between. And like Necro can't really do anything to help. Whereas if Necro just, or if it's Avenge, like in the first game, and you just stun the lion, he's dead immediately.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Necro's a hero you want to crush a lane with, but if the weakest player in the party's on it, you're not really going to get a crushing Necro game. It's quite a hard hero to destroy with.
We still got kills, but it could have just been rollover.
Yeah.
As opposed to a even, and then the other two lanes aren't as great.
Also, it feels like Clinkz Necro is kind of a bit of anti-synergy in terms of how they crush a lane. Clinkz is like, you stun and blow a hero up like quickly. And Necro's like, there's no control, there's no stuns, but you just out-sustain and out-damage like over time, and they have to keep buying regen, and they can't really come up to lane.
Yeah, all I want to do is burst
really work too well.
Yeah, and Avenge synergizes so well. Damage, output, stun.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice transition for us to speak to Adam about how his games have been. Because they've been flavorful, a specific flavorful. What's been going on for you this week?
Well, I started off, I was like, I want to play a couple bounty hunter games. And then that whet my appetite, and I immediately went into 8 straight Clinkz games. So I'm an absolute degenerate.
None of them.
All support, yeah. One of them on DotA buff says it's core, but it's because I killed so many people that it thinks I'm a core. But no, it was all support games.
You really know. I remember when you did a big streak of Viper support, so you really know how to get these Corona supports. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, these support heroes, I don't know. But yeah, talk to me about this support Clinkz then. How does it work, sort of thing? What's the strongest aspects of the hero, do you think?
So the initial thing was a few weeks ago when Kuroki played it 3 times in a row in a pro finals, Clinkz support. So I was like, okay, that might have legs. It seems pretty good. And then Crit stream, like Crit plays Clinkz all the time. He plays it as a core a lot, but it's like he makes it look just broken. It's one of his pub staples. And so I was like, oh, I'll try it. And it was like, oh my god. First game I go 19-6 and 24. And I'm like, oh, this hero.
Wait.
Well, because also, I see those things, and then 726A just buffs him.
Yeah.
And Crit's already talking about how broken the hero is, and then he gets buffed level 1 when he's already so good. So it's like, I gotta do it. And then I just kept doing it and kept winning.
Yep.
Went 6 and 2 in those 8 games. Had a 5-win streak.
It's worth mentioning you mentioned 7.26A. The win rate's gone from 48% to 53%. So that's quite a hike. This is on DotA buff. This is across all MMRs. I don't know what that looks like in the upper echelons. You mentioned crit, so I don't know what's looked like at the highest level. This new Clinkz, the Death Pact is back. Is there some sort of level thing going on here? What kind of creep can you get when the skills are at its first level?
Oh, this is the most broken part. Is you just take the large creep of the hard camp, and you get the XP. You get the same health regardless of what you eat,
okay.
But you just get experience like crazy at level 2. So it's just like, that's what I don't understand. Also, it's only 60 mana for a whole lot of benefit. So you have like no mana problems in the lane as Clinkz for the first couple levels, and then you just get to take the big creep, and like Doom doesn't get to do that.
Nope.
Chin doesn't get to do that. It's just like, what? Why does this guy get to just eat the biggest creep, and then you get 250 health, and you have a Blightstone on your auto attacks while you have the Death Pact active. And then if you kill someone while you have Death Pact active, or if they die, so your armor debuff lasts for 3 seconds. If they die while that's on them, you get 5 damage, permanent. And you refresh Death Pact to be able to be used again. And then they buff your what is the W called? Burning spears or
Searing
something?
arrows.
Searing arrows. Burning spears is Husker. Yeah. Searing arrows. It's 30 extra damage level 1 instead of 20. They just gave it a 10, and they made it cost 1.5 times more. It goes from 6 to 9, but that doesn't matter because they buffed your mana regen in a couple patches ago, just naturally. So you just can sustain without any mana items.
Yeah, I've seen the games you've played you've been building like towards damage early. Does that mean, is that like a pos 4 thing, or is that just any support thing?
I just do that on any. I think I played it more as a 5, I say in air quotations.
Yeah.
Than a 4, but you just build stats and then go into damage items.
Yeah, and just turn into a core Clinkz, basically, if you can.
Basically, and you get deep wards and just pick off supports, pick off cores, and then you just snowball. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're out of the laning stage, and some games are like, oh, I have 30 damage just naturally. I'm going to snowball even harder.
Yeah.
In the game with like 120 bonus damage, which just like scales so well with Deso, and I've been trying different things. I tried a Diffusal Blade. That was really cool, just depending on the lineup. If you need to burn someone's mana and hold them in place. Because sometimes people will just use their escape and get away, and you are slow. Like, you're really fast in Skeleton Walk, but after you pop out of it, you are slow. You can't really catch up. So if you can Diffusal, hold someone in place. The other thing that's really good, I think Dragonlance into Hurricane Pike is very solid because you don't need move speed if you have range, and you just become a tower.
And all of your burning armies get the extra range as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And that's also something I'm not getting at 6 unless it like you pop 6 as you kill somebody and there's one other hero under tower, like you need vision and you throw it. Otherwise, it's just the other spells are too good.
Okay. So what's your skill build looking like at level 6? Or level 7 even? Because I presume you're maxing the W, the Searing Arrows.
No, I leave that at 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I have no idea what's going on then.
Usually at 6 I have 2-1-3 because Death Pact you get an extra 100 health at level 2, so it's like you get 350 health, and it's an extra minus armor, goes to -3 I think on your auto, and then Skeleton Walk just is like, I think that's what you max. I know that's what you max because you move faster, which is very important, and then you get more attack speed, I believe, out of.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Because you don't have Strafe anymore. Yeah. Strafe is tied or thrown in with Skeleton Walk. So your bonus move speed goes 15, 25, 35, 45%. And then your attack speed bonus goes 70, 100, 130, 160. So, and it lasts longer. And the cooldown goes down.
Does the duration... Oh, yeah, the duration goes up as well. Yeah, the skill points into Skeleton Walk is crazy value. Like, there's 4 ways that scale is getting significant buff from each point. Move speed, attack speed, duration, and cooldown going down. It's crazy value. And the mana cost is never going up. I could see that getting a change.
That's the thing with Clinkz is Death Pact never goes up in mana cost. Skeleton Walk never goes up in mana cost. Searing Arrows negligibly goes up in mana cost. So you do need... I don't go Soul Ring anymore. I tried that. You just go, like, if you get a Mango Tree, that's all you need. Maybe you bring out some Clarities. Maybe you just go back to base.
Yeah, on the mana point.
TP back out. Like,
Crit was saying, I think he tried a game with Medallion for I think it was for a quest actually, and he said, he hated it and he's never doing that again because it's a waste of gold and he doesn't need the mana regen. And he says, just looking at the neutral items, you should always, likelihood is you'll always find at least one item that's in tier 1 or tier 2 that helps with mana problems, be that Essence Ring or a Quia or Ocean Heart, or even Clumsy Net, I didn't realize has mana regen built inside it. So you're saying the mana issue, neutral item, Mango Tree, like you say, can deal with it, and then you just go just pure greed, physical damage from everything else. And it's funny because I feel like with Dota, say when you contrast it to LoL, in League it's all about your spam spells. There's no trade-offs to doing anything. In Dota, you have to be much more careful with your cooldown of spells, with your mana usage. But with a Clinkz in this, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever, you've actually got no punishment to just spamming spells whenever, because the cost is so low, it doesn't scale. And it seems so good. They're just using all his spells and all his power constantly. You've never got downtime. It's just mad.
Yeah, you're just a madman. You're just like running around, popping up in one lane. People are like, okay, he's mid, I'm fine. And then you just run to the other lane and you shoot some people. It's pretty, it's a lot of fun. And I think it's like obnoxiously strong.
As a support, you haven't tried it as a core yet. I presume the buffs can only help, right? 7.26a can only help the core.
Yeah,
excuse me.
You can't believe how good it is.
He's really good with items, but he's also really good without items. So that's why he's good at supporting, because you don't actually really need anything, especially early. Like, you just bully lane dominate, right? It's kind of like what the 5 Viper was, except even less mana intensive. And you kind of have the infinite scaling meme, right? Because you have a Death Pact permanent damage. Yeah. So I really like it.
I imagine the lane... Go on. Well,
I was going to say, just on the meme scale as well, you're also invisible, which is like auto winning.
Oh, yeah. And I've won games with triple like invis lineups. I was so mad because our support combo was Weaver Clinkz, and then our Dragon Knight mid goes first item Shadowblade. I'm like, what are you? Why are you doing this? But then we won, so it was fine.
Yeah,
that one we won, and I was 1-9. And I was like, oh, maybe there are some games where, like, oh, you fall behind. But, I had the old tactical deaths where you die so deep in their jungle that they rotate a bunch of people.
Yeah,
and then you're actually fine. And then we take one fight defending high ground with, like, burning army and stuff. And then we melt all the buildings because Clinkz. 5 Clinkz, melting buildings.
When you think about laners that are good big bullies, like the Viper you mentioned, just poison attacking everyone, or you might think of a Skyraf just lumping arcane bolts on you,
or Ogre or something.
Ogre throwing ignites, even Silencer with his orb attack not aggroing anyone. Death Pact -2 armor. I presume you start with Blightstone for another -2 armor, and then
no, you build stats.
Is it not worth the value Blightstone?
Well, it's 300 gold.
But is that not more value than 2 slippers?
You do. Well, I go 2 circlets. You want health.
Okay, you want the health and stats.
Yeah, it's 2 circlets, a slipper, a branch, and a set of tangos. And then I do get a Blightstone eventually.
Yeah.
It stacks.
But I guess even with, say, level 1 Death Pact, there's an inbuilt 300 gold value from that 2 armor reduction. So you come to lane with that, and then level 2, you've got your Searing Arrows for an extra plus 30. So now your right click's probably 100.
Well, no, surely you don't take Death Pact level 1, do you?
Level 2.
There's no creeps.
Yeah, there's no creeps.
Yeah.
If there were creeps level 1, I think you might actually go Death Pact level 1.
But level 2, you've got 1/1, I presume.
Yeah, 1/1, and you just hit so hard.
Yeah, there's not even a cooldown on Searing Arrows. It's not like Viper with 6-second cooldown at level 1, say.
No, you're just like attack moving. Don't even attack move. Like, they're just going to run away. Yeah. So you can just stand there. And then I think you go the circlets and stuff because you eat the creep. At level 2, you have 800 health. as a Clinkz.
So no one can stand on trade.
And then you have like 3 armor as well. So 4 armor probably. So you just like I just like sit there and I let them attack me and I just don't care. I just ore block, and so the creeps don't go on me. And then they keep hitting me, and then they realize like, oh, I'm really low. Oh, I'm not taking. I'm not doing as much damage as being done to me. And then usually the core in the lane is like, oh yeah, we can get kills. Like you just aggress to such an extent that you force your core to be like, okay, I guess we'll kill. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You stand so aggressive and you hit and like, oh wow, the enemy heroes are actually at like 25%. I guess I should just use an ability on them.
Yeah.
The Divine and Immortal plus win rate this week it says is 5%, win rate 54.5%. 5%, sorry, pick rate 5%. That's unjustifiably low for how strong this hero is. So
yeah.
Get in there whilst you can before it gets nerfed and figured out. Crit's going to be a bit bummed when everyone starts playing it and it gets weakened. But
one thing we haven't mentioned as well is it's got a boss taunt.
Yeah.
It's got a very
Xylo bones.
Yeah. Very good. Get spamming.
Good way of triggering people. There's like a lot of... I mean, you just have so much survivability, especially with like a stick. Once you get that out there, you have things where you're hitting and like, oh, we can kill him. And then you just Death Pact, burst 250 heal. And they're like,
yeah,
okay, we can still get him. You kill one person, refresh Death Pact another creep, 250 burst heal. And the whole time they're just getting lower and lower and dying. And you end up being fine. And there was like that first game we played where you and I got vacuumed onto the hill. And
oh yeah, I remember.
We get vacuumed onto the tower, the hill or whatever. And then there's a Dazzle that's put his Q on us. And they're all just hitting us. I'm getting so low. But the Dazzle has 2 Necro Creeps. And I eat one of them. I eat the red one. Take the damage. But then I get some health. Kill somebody. Refresh it. Eat the blue one. Get burst heal, and we both live. And it was like, I didn't even know you could eat Necro Creeps with Death Pact, but you can.
Yeah.
I did.
It's so bizarre that it refreshes. It's such a weird part of the spell. I don't know why they would do that, but
I guess it's to reward you. Because it is a long cooldown. It's 90 seconds, and duration's 55. So if you don't get a kill, it's 35 seconds. You have to kind of... I mean, eventually you have so much damage, you don't care if you get it refreshed. You're just killing people. But
sure.
But you also don't need Death Pact to get kills, because the consumption part of it gives you HP, but you don't. That's it. So you don't need the HP to get kills. It's not like you're not...
Well, you get the armor reduction.
Do you not always get armor reduction, though? Or do you only get armor reduction?
No, it's only while you're Death Pacted, yeah.
I see. Even so, 2 armor reduction. Oh, yes, level 4, it's got 5 armor reduction. Even so, the damage output, I know, like 35 seconds.
You don't need it.
It's not crazy critical. Yeah.
Let's hear some drums, and then let's talk about 7.26. So 7.26, quite a small patch in terms of lines, but potentially big implications. I'll quickly read through it. Attributes no longer provide magic resistance, spell amplification, and movement speed for strength, intelligence, and agility, respectively. Gold bounties reduced by 10%. Kill streak gold reduced by 50%. Let's start on the stats changes then. You guys played Dota before this was a thing, right? When they added it in, and now it's gone again. How are your feelings towards these bonuses for stats being removed now?
The game is so different than where it was when that was originally the case. So it's hard to say. But
it simplifies things a bit.
It simplifies things. I feel like Agi heroes get nerfed the least out of this because you barely got any move speed off of Agi anyways.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to say if strength, like who came out worse, strength heroes or int heroes, because it's like, okay, you have less magic resist, so you would think int would be better, but then you have less spell amp, so it's kind of a wash.
Sure.
It's almost worse for int heroes that use like their spells to farm because they're not getting spell amp for hitting creep waves. And strength heroes are just going to buy
naturally it hits
like magic resist anyways.
Yeah.
I always felt, well, my first impression was that the strength additional component being lost was the biggest. Like, I know you could say, yeah, it cancels out with how int people would get more spell amp, but I always, like the comment I made about the strength heroes, it being their patch, I always felt like the strength attributes were the most value attributes out of strength, agi, and int. So yeah, disregard agi because of move speed, who gives one. It was so irrelevant. The int magic amp, I don't know, whenever I've like looked at the numbers, so if you press alt and hover over your item,
so small.
It's so small, yeah, the increase. But I feel like the magic resistance from strength, I don't know, it just felt proportionally better, and I felt like it was one of the reasons why strength heroes were that much flavor, because they're getting lots of strength from levels, but then they're building items that give strength.
And then there's just synergy between magic resist and flat HP pool, which strength gives you, as opposed to mana and spell amp. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter how much mana you have.
Like in games, really, 50-50 magic versus physical damage. Actually, I don't know about actually. I don't know. Ignore that point. I felt like the strength change was the biggest change. So maybe that's
I would
good.
agree.
Maybe that's good for all the heroes then, to bring kind of the strength's inherent relative power a bit closer to the other two.
But then in like how long did this patch last? Like 5 days? Something like that before A came out?
But has A changed anything about this attribute stuff?
Well, it's like in the 5 days that this patch existed, it made pipe even more picked up than it already was. You know, like even after it got more expensive, it's like, well, we just buy the pipe. We buy the pipe, and then you see what happens in 7.2.6a. Pipe gets nerfed even harder because once you take away the innate magic resist, it makes the one source of the magic resist so much more necessary.
Yeah, definitely.
Which then also led to the games getting even quicker because everyone just built push aura items. You would think it would slow it down because kill streak and gold bounties are less, but it's like, no, we're just all going to group together, get our Vlads, Helm Doms, pipes, and just swarm.
They tried to make the cost of those mid-game team aura items more expensive, but that's not been enough of an incentive to shy away from them. And points I think it was Seb made was that, okay, you reduce gold bounties of buildings and creeps, neutrals and heroes. On the whole, what's now the best asset to farm? Well, it's heroes still, was the way he was looking at it. So people are just going to want to brawl because the gold on the rest of the map still is just shit. And then also the kill streak, if you're ahead and you've
not as punished.
Yeah, you're way not as punished. I don't feed 800 gold now for my mega kill streak or unstoppable streak. I feed 400 gold. Man, that's a massive difference. That's like a minute of farming and then another minute of, say, map positioning. Like, you're literally just cutting out 2 minutes, like gaining 2 minutes of time from that kill streak gold reduction, just because the amount of gold that the enemy team gets is so much less. So you don't.
Yeah, and it's like there used to be times where someone was like a team was 10k ahead and would get wiped, and then it'd be like they're 4k ahead now. Like it was a big deal. Now a 10k lead, you get wiped, and you're like, okay, we're 6.5k behind or ahead still. Like we actually don't lose near as much from this. Maybe the experience, but not on the gold front.
I know that from Crit's stream, he said he felt like the changes were really poor, and that he was like, yeah, what we want, or what Ice Frog or the developers want, is to have these less crazy 20-minute stomp fight games. We need to slow the pace down a little bit. Let's change some gold stuff. Let's change some inherent attribute power. But actually, the state of the game hasn't changed, and everyone's equally weaker, say from that attribute change.
And from the gold bounty change, it's affect everything equally.
Yeah, the enemy team also get less neutral and creep gold, so they've also got equal incentive to keep brawling for heroes. Yeah, so it's actually not changed the meta. And also, just jumping ahead to 7.26a, I initially thought the XP change was really good, but I didn't understand it. And actually, the XP change from 7.26a, it just reduces the XP you get from killing someone with a streak. So actually, that means bouncing back is harder. So say you're behind and you kill the enemy guy with a streak, you get less XP from it. Like, that actually doesn't help coming back.
Right.
And if
well,
you're
the other
ahead,
thing,
who really cares? Like, okay, you snowball less, but that's assuming you're killing the losing team having a kill streak. Like, that's not really likely. So I feel like you net benefit the team that's already winning with this XP change. So that doesn't help the meta.
Yeah, it's like if you're in theory, you could say, well, it means that the team that's behind, they're not necessarily incentivized to brawl, so your games might be elongated a bit because teams that are behind might be like, well, we'll farm our way back into the game and split the map, which prolongs things rather than just butting heads, because of the changes to XP for kill streaks and gold bounties. But if you flip that to the aggressive team, they've got all the more reason to just group up and go high ground, because even if they get wiped, it's like less punishing and they're not even going to be as behind anymore.
On the XP and gold front, it's less punishing for you to be ahead and lose fights.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and if you make everyone weaker with all the stat changes and like the gold bounties, if you make everyone equally worse, then the heroes that peak earlier become just as, like, they're still the strongest heroes because they're the ones that still come online the earliest, and they just snowball.
I'm surprised they didn't change just kill XP. I really thought that's what they were going to do, and that's what I thought the change was initially, that the XP you get for killing heroes is less, and that's just a clear incentive to, all right, maybe we don't have all our heroes TP to every tower whenever there's an engagement. Maybe the cost benefit means we would rather like hit more creeps and delay the game and split push the game or something like that. But no, none of that's changed. So it feels like the meta of brawl 20-minute games hasn't changed.
And then if you make there less gold on the map, what hero becomes really good? If there's just less gold on the map inherently.
Heroes that generate gold, yeah.
Yeah, Elk. So you see who got touched up in 7.268.
Yeah,
Elk was good again because he got more gold than everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Although it is kind of different with Elk nowadays because you just don't see the 1,000 GPM as much because there's so much less gold now.
Well, will the TI Battle Pass free level of what will be the highest GPM achieved?
Yeah.
Will that be in doubt now because of the new metagame? Who knows?
You just got to name 900 now, I guess.
maybe. We were on 7.26a really. So let's go through some of the changes more specifically. Boots, all forms of boots now changed from a percentage back to a flat number. Mostly it's gone from 15% to 45%. That's for brown boots, PTs, arcanes, fays, all of those. And then the other boots have been changed too. Man, tranquils make you fast. Even inactive tranquils, like broken tranks or whatever, they still boost you more than, say, phase boots and PTs and brown boots. I thought it would be the same. I know it's marginal, but I thought it would be the same when they're inactive. And then when they're active, you're flying. It's a 50% increase, over 50% more than the flat increase of the other boots, if you can wrap your head around that poorly worded sentence.
Tranks, you go from 300 to 350 and then 425 when they're active. Everyone, like, that's the basic. Most heroes have 300 MS.
Yeah.
I way prefer these flat numbers. This is retro, back to DotA 1 days. It used to be 50 movement speed for boots. Everyone used to be 300 movement speed. We're living in a simple effing world. Then all those percentages come out and you've got no idea what value added items do anymore. No idea what power spells is anymore, resistance, etc. So difficult. I know, no one's sat there doing the calculations, but kind of does throw off your feel, and it feels like a bit just messy. What does movement speed mean? 15%? I don't know. But now it's 45 flat. I mean, it's just so much simpler and nicer.
The movement speed items, the secondary ones like Yasha and stuff like that, used to be the percentage ones.
That was fine.
Yeah, that was fine because you were working off of boots. Like you could do that. That was like intuitive. And then they flipped it to where like Yasha and I mean Yule's still gives the flat, but it's like those items started giving flat, and it was like weird because you had percentage based off your boots. So then that was what was amping it. It was just kind of strange, and I like this a lot better. I mean, it's what I grew up on. It's what I was
back
used
in my
to.
day.
Yeah, but this buffs slow heroes and nerfs fast heroes.
Yes.
Like your inherent move speed. So Crystal Maiden is better with boots, but Coddle is worse with boots. And this nerfs heroes that get flat movement speed bonuses from their abilities, such as Weaver and Darkseer. Because when it was percentage based, you got so much more off of. So you would surge, right, and it would give you 250 move speed or whatever it gives you, and then that would get buffed by the percentage amp from the boots. So I think this nerfs you about, I think it's like 40 move speed, 40 or 50 move speed off the surge.
Yeah, I think that's
fine.
It's fine, yeah. It makes so much more sense to have, I'm a Crystal Maiden and Kotl is whatever, he is
333.
Yeah, he's like 40 movements, like 30 movement speed higher. Say these two heroes, they have 30 movement speed difference between them. It's so much simpler to be like, well, we both got boots, it's still 30 because we both got the same item. It doesn't make sense. It's weird how it snowballs with the percentages.
Yeah.
Now Kotl was like exponentially. He exponentially
will always be faster than Crystal
move
Maiden.
Speeds you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that snowball point, and it's making me think about if you think OG monkey business, and if you think teams snowballing when they're ahead, particularly if you start getting an advantage in the early mid game. Suppose you've got a team of heroes that have got phase boots and maybe a drum aura, or phase boots and a windlace, or power dreads and a windlace, and you're just rolling the game, and the enemy team's got these brown boots giving supports just like 20 movement speed, but the enemy team's got all these snowballing movement speed items that then just help them snowball literally in the game and run over heroes and chase kills and dive past towers and all that just literal hero movement advantage stuff. It slows that down because of the points you've been making, so that's helpful for the snowball meta. You couldn't OG monkey business as hard because those snowball aspects of better boots and better movement speed wouldn't be as strong and unequal.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I said, my goodness, you are rapid with Woodland Striders. Holy smokes.
Yeah, 140 and unlocks max movement speed, I think.
Jeez. Get me in the Striders, my word. Absolutely rapid. Moving beyond the movement speed changes then.
Well, the one thing is Trident. Trident doesn't have a 30. Like, it doesn't have a 3 anymore.
Oh,
it used to be plus 30 move speed, and now it's plus 10%. And you're like, why? Everything's a 30, and now this is a 10. I don't like,
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm with you. That's weird. Just for continuity issues, forget game balance, just for continuity issues. Have the 30 in there.
I mean, it's not like this item was created for some game balance either. It's the most meme item ever. 3s everywhere.
Yeah. Let's move beyond movement speed and let's do it at a flat rate rather than at a percentage, and arrive at Spirit Vessel provides a negative aura that reduces health regen, heals and lifesteal by 20% in a 1200 AoE.
Can we clarify?
Solely steep.
Does this...
What this means?
Well, does this
definitely. I need it clarifying
negative aura is that constantly active, or is it active
Yes.
only when you use a active?
Yeah,
charge?
so reading this now makes me think it is around you always. At first, when I read it,
think
I
so.
thought I put a earn charge on a hero, and then that hero is what has the aura around it. But that
That would be
very
cool if they did
intuitive.
that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I guess it makes more sense to be centered around your hero always.
I quite like that because I quite like Spirit Vessel conceptually being an item on like a tanky frontliner because it provides health. It no longer provides movement speed. Okay,
Yeah,
so it provides
they got
health.
rid of Windlace.
It makes you tankier, and I quite like it being an item you build on a big tanky strength hero, say, that wants to be like an underlord, say, that just wants to like be fat at the front of a fight. So I quite like that change. I think it opens up the item to be built on more heroes. We're seeing it built on a ridiculously wide range of heroes already, but I quite like this. And then just to continue reading as well, the soul release debuff regen reduction's been reduced from 60% to 35%. No longer has Windlace, as we said, but the recipe
That
cost
must
has been
stack,
increased.
Yeah.
35%, and then it stacks with the aura, so it's 55, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this must be a net benefit to the item.
This is a buff. Yeah.
So yeah,
It costs more, but yeah.
costs more and you've not got the Windlace, so that is sad. But in terms
well, it
of when
costs
you
the same. It costs the same because you're not buying the Windlace.
recipe cost gone up $250.
But you're not buying the Windlace.
Oh,
which is
okay.
$250.
Yeah, so cost the same,
Okay.
but you don't get the movement speed component. But if there's a target on the enemy team that you need to use Spirit Vessel on, when you do that,
It's just as effective.
it's pretty much same effectiveness. Yeah, 60% reduction versus 55. But then at the same
and it
time,
kills the mech for the entire team.
yeah, 20% to the entire team in a decently sized AoE. So I don't think. Oh, it reduces heals. Yeah, so a mech.
Yeah, what and
by
lifesteal.
20%. And lifesteal by 20%. So that negates just Vlad's say.
This counters Vlad's
Yeah.
immediately. Also, what did Necro do to anybody to deserve this?
God, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel
Necro
like
died for Pugna's sins. And Chen. And Chen's sins. Like, this kills Chen, hopefully. Wouldn't kill it. I mean, I guess it's, like, good early, but, like, in the mid-game, now you have to build the Spirit Vessel. Because this, you know...
Yeah, so they're like, what can we do to make Chen not OP in certain games or teams or whatever? Right, make Vessel just the most direct counter to Chen's AoE heal gameplay. Seems strong, this AoE, plus then active on the target you need to hurt the most.
Heart, 20% less effective.
Even just like AoE from, say, a mech or a Grieve or a Pipe, or a Helm of Dominator does AoE heal.
Or someone has a Sange. Like, this messes up the Sange, right? All that, because they get, like, the regen amp, and it's like, no.
Yeah, negate that.
And just heroes as well. Like, you know, there's so many heroes that have built-in lifesteal, obviously Lifestealer, and then Wraith King Aura is kind of like screwed, and then, you know, all this stuff. It's kind of interesting elements to the item.
Health regen of strength heroes that are those tanky guys. You're now making that 20% less effective. That's pretty value, like a DK, say. His spell of Dragon Blood's now much less effective.
Yeah, it's so funny because Spirit Vessel was like an item that needed to be on your team every game anyways, and now they just made it even more required.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a funny one how so specific it is in a lot of games. Like, there's a Timber, there's a Hustguard, there's just some... I mean, in most games, whenever there's even just tanky strength heroes with lots of HP, it's like, we need a Vessel. This item costs $3,000, and it absolutely destroys the strength cause HP like no other item could, apart from Rapier. We've got to build it. It's pretty unique.
Yeah. Let's look further down this list then. A lot of recipe cost increases. Bassi, Headdress, Soul Ring, all getting the treatment. Vlad's getting the treatment. Mech, Pipe, Lotus. Oh no, sorry, Lotus's mana cost. Yeah, those are all the ones I listed. Are all got recipe increases. Anna Vlad's has also got a slight nerf to the lifesteal from 25% now down to 20%. headdress was being built in every lane. It got nerfed a bit. Now it's been nerfed a bit more.
I think it's finally in not auto buy territory.
Okay. Yeah, it's 200's like mildly annoying.
Yeah, it ruins like you can't buy double regen.
Yeah.
It's one of those subtle money nerfs that's like, oh, can't buy this to start off with now because it just totally takes up too much of your gold for what it's giving. I mean, if it was what it was, where it was 2.5 HP regen, probably good, but it's not like that anymore. It's 2. So it's like if you're going to get a pipe or a mech, you pick this up along the way, but you don't get it immediately. It might be something you get delivered out, in your first or second courier, but not your starting item. And same with Bassi.
It's quite a nasty nerf of Vlad's then. So all of this compounds into Vlad's. The headdress increase, the Bassi increase, and the Vlad's recipe itself. They all compound, right? So it's a 50 for Vlad's, 50 for headdress, and 25 for Bassi.
Yeah.
There's 125 more for Vlad's.
And the lifesteal aura reduced, so it's like...
Yeah.
It's not the... I mean, all of these items were just so cheap for what they gave you. So... Yeah. I don't know. They're just making them... I mean, I think mech was the worst. And so it's only 50 more, but pipe 200 more, and then Vladimir's is 125 more.
Headdress goes into pipe, doesn't it? So it'd be 250. Am I right in thinking that?
Oh, yeah, 250.
Also, pipe was 800. 2 pipes.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, it was... Yeah. It was like, what was it, 2,900? Or maybe it was a flat 3,000?
I think could be flat.
And now it's, I mean, to where it needed to be.
I mean, Valve are seriously like, you're crushing the game. Okay, you can crush the game harder by getting pipe. All right, we need to really stop this pipe coming online. Let's just slap so much gold tax on it.
I think this finally slows the game down. I think this patch finally slows the game a little bit.
It'd be interesting to see it play out. Like, I wonder if it slows the game but doesn't stop the snowball. Like, is it just a slower snowball, or is there actually more room and maneuverability to like bring games back or not get crushed as hard? Like, are you just ending the game 2 minutes later, or?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you can just make the game 1 to 2 minutes later on average, that opens up some windows for some heroes to come online, or for you to cut waves and do split push shenanigans just to stall.
And we know Dota's a funny game, even if the meta becomes, and this is such a like I can't think of the word, but such a sort of BS thing to say anyway, but say Dota slows down by like 1 minute or whatever, kind of a contrived thing to say, but that could allow so many things that you can't imagine, because yes, like you said, it allows like a hero to come back into the meta or to come online. Suddenly teams that are playing very aggressively because they're building early items because that's what the meta has been, they think, well, it's a bit worse now, which means that these other heroes can get online, so suddenly that whole strategy goes away. Suddenly later game strategies come in, and suddenly the game's like 10 minutes, like 5 minutes longer, 10 minutes longer, simply because the early game strategies and like team up stuff isn't being tried as much because they know that it's not as strong relatively. They're better off doing other things. We all know how quickly like Dota can change. So it's definitely interesting when IceFrog makes a concerted effort to slow the game down or speed it up. Yeah. It really could go in any direction. Like, who knows?
I think the fact that Seb and Crit said they don't think the changes have done what they expect and like read the developers want to happen, i.e. that slowing the pace down, I feel like there will be another change to try and make that happen, or maybe a bit of a correction to one of these gold XP fundamental aspects. Maybe the changes will have worked, but I'm holding out for another little tweak.
Yeah. We haven't got a ton of time left, so let's go through some other changes. We haven't
just
quite...
Shout out Aya Scotty real fast.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Oh, yeah, sick.
Yeah. Go on, tell me about Asgardy.
Well, just reduces all region heals and lifesteal by 35%. That's just a straight buff.
That's a big.
You already you have the BKB piercing slow.
Yeah.
You have the Giga stats it gives. I mean, no one was building it, so unless you're a Meepo. So
even Meepo doesn't,
or like a TB or something. So
yeah.
I mean, it gives you another way of countering regen or heal lineups. It's just like a straight addition to an item, so it'll be cool to see that.
Definitely.
It makes so much sense because I have Scardy. It's like icy kind of attack, and so you kind of icing the enemy's heart rate and like heal rate. And, I mean, it slows them down, cools them out. Honestly,
and you stack that with the Spirit Vessel aura. Whew.
Yeah, you're etching close to that negative heal regen rate.
Yeah, Sky's a cool item. Like Adam says, you never see it. So
my favorite item, one of my favorite items is Shiva's and Scardy. I love these icy items. The Shiva's active is gorgeous, and Scardy's really cool on attack animations.
The Shiva's active on Battle Pass always looks so good. I never have the levels to see it, but it always looks real nice. Blade Mail int reduced from 10 to 8. Is that enough to make this item not just be memey to the point where the active means nothing and you're building it on like QoP and stuff?
I think it's in a healthy place. I don't think it's super memey and overvalued. Like, I don't think it's too strong such that it's overpicked. I still think there's only a select set of heroes wanting it.
The reason I say it's memey is not because I think it's OP, but I think when you think of Blade Mail, you think of it on a strength hero, like tanking loads of stuff, reflecting loads of damage. Yeah. At the moment, it's best as a damage item for int heroes. It's kind of weird.
As opposed to the active. I know what you mean.
As opposed to the armor and the active.
Yeah, that convention.
I mean, the armor's part of it, obviously.
Yeah. I do think it's cool that it means you can honestly inflict more damage. I mean, it's a damage output often if you can reflect damage rather than the idea of, like you say, tank up armor and reflect physical. You just think axe. Everyone thinks axe. But actually, there is some more dimensions to this item, and I think it's cool to see it picked up on more than just a blink blade mail axe.
No, I agree with you. It's definitely an item that for a while, before it started to be experimented with on these int heroes, it literally was just like core on one hero, and you'd never. What's the next hero after Axe? Like I don't even know. Like some
Centaur.
He
stopped doing that too.
Yeah, and like Underlord Centaur, like they're never building it. So
I think it's a really cool item as well because you think, all right, Axe because you use it because heroes are literally forced to attack you. But actually, why it's so great, the active, is that if you're a hero which can put yourself into the enemy's face, you can then activate it, and it renders the enemy unable to do something to you because they'll just hurt themselves. So if you're someone like a QoP or a Furion, you just literally blink TP yourself into the midst of the enemy lines, pop it. It lets you do so much because they can't touch you and they don't want to touch you. So that aspect is, I think, really cool. If you're someone who can get stuck in and then who likes the natural attributes as well, like blah, blah, blah. Cool item. Yeah. It's nice to see. I think the Nullifier change as well is what we needed when Nullifier got buffed a couple patches ago, and we were speaking about, can you use this off? So you could use it off. So that was too easy a counter, honestly. Or you could say Heavenly Grace it off, or you could Lotus it off. So now the Nullifier debuff is not dispellable. It really, I think, brings it into consideration because it got a lot of damage buffs and like the active buff was good, so I'd expect to see this a bit more now. Yeah.
Hero changes, lots of them. Do we have anywhere we want to go in particular, any of these hero changes that stand out? We don't really have time to go through all of them.
When they hit a lot of heroes with just heroes that had % move speed, they tailored them to be in line with the boots change. But heroes that had flat move speed buffs, they kept the same. So there's really not a whole lot of, like, if you see that a number got tweaked to be smaller, it really is about the same to where it was before. But Alk got nerfed, obviously, because he was a gold machine in a time when gold's at a premium.
Yes.
I could do a couple shout outs just early in the alphabet. The Brewmaster one, so about his Fire Panda spirit, getting his AoE Rady burn increased from 20 to 25, 40 to 50. I believe this got buffed or doubled, maybe? Was it doubled, Fire Spirit that had it doubled like a couple patches ago? So now that's got another buff. I think it's quite nice. Trying to help.
It's a lot of damage now,
yeah. Trying to help the damage output of Brew and his split. I had a phase where I played like 2 or 3 Panda games in a row because I watched some SEA Panda YouTube video just go like Power Treads Raid, and I was like, let's fucking go. Let's copy this Archon video. It was really good fun slapping heroes.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys agree, but I get a little bit excited looking at the Chaos change. Phantasm cooldown reduced from 145 to 125 at level 1. This is a hero, we know CK lives for his ultimate. It's like Lycan almost, and an extra 20 seconds uptime at level 1. That's pretty nice. Like, I could definitely get behind flying around with CK with some extra Phantasms. And just for all of the listeners out there that are like lower MMR or whatever, CK always one of my picks for just stomping low-level pubs if you want a hero that can gain you some MMR. And I think CK, though you don't see him in the pro scene very often, like in pubs, the hero's definitely about in pubs.
Yeah, I think he's a menace in pubs because if you get a couple items and you suddenly have 2.5k HP at minute 15, it's very hard to deal with.
Armlet Echo level 12 's like always been, you just win the game oftentimes with that if you want to go that build.
Shen is another pretty significant shout out. Level 1 Divine Favor heal, health regen, been docked nearly 50%. It's like, what? I can't do the maths, but it's nearly 50%, 2 to 1.25 reduction in health regen. So that value point is much less significant. Seems first. We always hate Chen for being OP, but we don't know why. So fucking...
Yeah. You mentioned you're playing a lot of Ember Spirit. His Soon Chain's cooldown's been increased at all levels by 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that hurts.
That really hurts. And it also means the POS 4 idea is less viable because as a POS 4, you're more reliant and more often maxing your Q ahead of, say, the E. Now that's just less uptime of your disable means your purpose as a 4 is slightly weaker, but then also hurts the core embers also. Sad times.
Adam, hey, did you know this hero Clinkz? Sorry, did you know this hero Clinkz got a base damage buff? Level 1?
I did notice that.
At all levels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we already covered the Clinkz, that's why I sort of skipped over it, but yeah, I know you're getting excited looking at that. For sure. I was going to ask about, it shouldn't be me asking about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. This Pugna decrep change, cast range reduced from 700 to 400, 500, 600, 700.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got to what exist as a support for a week, not even, and they're like, no, cut that out.
It's so funny. A support. It's so annoying. I don't know. I always liked the fact that Pugna was a viable 4. I don't know why you'd want to remove certain parts of a hero to make them unviable in certain positions. It's kind of
just had insane value points, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious though because it's OG Tiny TI9 toss cast range gets nerfed. Jerax Tiny. Then OG Saxka POS 4 same position does Pugna with this crazy range decrep gets nerfed right off the back of Saxka's Pugna without a doubt.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was just so funny. Like level 1 Netherward existed for pretty much a week. It was just like this annoying thing that drains your mana in lane, and then they just get rid of it. Yeah. This is funny.
I don't think the mid Pugnas hurt that much by this. It just means that it. I mean, maybe it's a little bit harder to do the classic Pugna win the lane by decrepping them and denying their range creep and securing yours and stuff. It's a little bit harder, but I don't think it's that much harder, especially because level 3 you can always just put a second point in to the decrep purely to get that range, because getting the extra point in Q doesn't really matter that much. You still get the CS on the range creep with level 1, so maybe you mix up the skill build and just go like 1-2. And then by the time you're level 2, I don't think you're going to have a problem decrepping enemies to stop them getting CS. And obviously you're going to have level 4 decrep reasonably soon if you're playing it mid.
Sasuke's got to be so upset, right? Because both Phoenix and Pugna right next to one another, his heroes, get nerfed.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that Fire Spirit's cooldown, so it's gone from 45 to 51 at level 1. And I mean, at all levels, apart from level 4, the cooldown's higher. But level 1, if you've now got to wait 6 more seconds for your Fire Spirits to up, that's fairly, like in a laning phase, that can kind of add up in terms of how much it hurts you being able to apply pressure. Like 6 seconds, that can be like, you get the creep wave, move back to where you want it to be. Because the Phoenix can't make any pressure happen until that spell's up, and that accumulates over the laning phase. So I feel like that cooldown nerf's fairly significant, above 10%.
And they remove the Ags, the Sunray on the Ags.
Was that ever meant to be in there? That was surely an exploit. Was it meant to be able to cast Sunray? Was that like a line that was in the text?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. It just seems so much like it shouldn't exist. I don't know.
And I think that's why people were getting it. I mean, other than you save teammates and you have extra, you get the extra hits, obviously. But then it was just so good to dive in, Ag Supernova, and then people go on you and you just Sunray them, drain, like just percent damage, take away all their health, and your team is getting healed percentage during the fight as well. So it didn't even matter if you like died, because everyone has like focusing you. It's kind of just like a pseudo taunt where you also were ripping their health and healing your team.
Yeah.
Two final heroes I feel worthy of shouting out. One, I'm happy to see the Crobolus Death Prophet nerfs to her base speed and exorcism. The bonus movement speed from exorcism's down, and the mana cost of exorcism is up. So Crob mid was definitely a big flavor in the last month, say, but it slowly dwindled and like fallen off a bit, and this will make it fall off a little bit as well. Don't mind, because I'm really not into that hero.
Yeah.
The other hero, another D shout out, Drow Ranger, base armor up by a mighty 2. Now that
literally unkillable.
Yeah, that makes
to infinity.
Brett lose his mind.
Yeah.
That's nice. Drow is always seen as this laner which really struggles because it's just a bit too leafy, gets slapped around a bit too much. Base armor by
0
2.
armor.
Was it literally 0? Wow.
It was 0 as an Agi hero. It's like, damn.
And you compare that to Ricky, he's got 6 or 7 or something. I know it's melee, but still. So that's kind of interesting. I think she still suffers massively from just anyone with spells, because you got. I mean, yeah, you could say she has Gust, but really, it's not help. It's not saving you at the end of the day when people are just slapping spells on you from the side of the trees and whatnot. But I don't know. Maybe the base armor help. But then, as a range here, we're not really taking that many right-click peps, so I'm not sure. I also don't really like Dro, so I'm not really bothered about seeing her.
Couple of mentions I'll just make, and they don't really require any discussion because they're so minor, but OD Arcane Orb damage increased by 1% at all levels. I feel like with OD, when it's a change to Arcane Orb, but just because it's a percentage, and because I've seen OD, how stupidly strong it can get sometimes, out of nowhere, I just always am like, hesitant, with like OD changes. Like, is this?
Is that
gonna
good?
Make, is it good? Like, is OD good? Is this going to make him the most staple mid? Because he's been maybe the most staple mid for the last year. I mean, I know he's not very strong at the moment, hence why he's getting a buff. But for so long, he was just like a strong pick in every game. So I don't mind him. If he hadn't been buffed, I would have been like, yeah, that's fine. I think he's still pickable in some games. And then the other change I like is Luna's attack animation being improved from 0.46 to 0.35. I just want to see Luna in pro games. This hero is never picked as a carry in pro games, ever. I don't think I've ever seen this hero as a position 1 in a professional game of Dota 2 since maybe one game in like TI8 he was played once, or she was played once. So, justice for Luna. I don't want it as some boring POS 4 or some Mimi Ags alt canon. I want to see some butterfly, satanic, scardy lunars flying around.
You might be waiting a while for that.
Yes, I think that I will be. I don't think this change will be addressing my concern there, but it's nice to see Luna getting a buff because, I don't know, I have a sweet spot for the hero for some reason.
I think even if she gets picked, she's just so good as a split damage type carry. Like, even if you're the one, I think you go Axe, just because of how good it is. So, it's like, it had to go super late game for you to go like the butterfly satanic manta, because that hero. I like have a soft spot for her too, because it's always fun to win a fight and then you take the tower and then all of a sudden a million glaives appear.
Yeah,
on the racks.
Yeah. Glaives are just fun. I just like watching glaives. I think that's why I like the hero. I like hitting a creep camp and seeing glaives bounce around the creeps. There's just something enjoyable about that.
Yeah, but I think I've lost more creeps to glaives than I've gotten creeps to glaives. You know what I mean? Like
what?
the glaive bounces. It gives the creep to a sliver, and then a creep kills it.
Oh, you missed the CS.
Yeah, I miss more CS because of glaives than I get because of the glaives.
Yeah, that valued 0 points in glaives. I actually get more CS.
Same thing with Jug crit, like stuff like that.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, that's so infuriating.
All Dota players know this.
But can it not just crit on heroes at level 1?
Yeah.
It's like you go to the extent of putting your Quelling Blade on the floor to prep that ranged CS, and then that prep right click is this crit just fucks it up completely.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's it. Unless anyone has any final comments on the patch or the pods. I don't think so.
The pod
don't play support Clinkz. I don't want it to get nerfed. I'm having too much fun.
7.26b. Adam removed from picking Clinkz. Yeah. But yeah, thanks to Mark and Anna for joining me. As always, we'll be back next week. What we'll talk about, well, you'll just have to think about that for the next week in isolation. And so will we. But until then, have a final whistle and stay safe.